Welcome back to another sort of Ministry of Truth. I am your only host on this show, and I've got, more of the same from what we've been watching the past couple of days because, well, it's real easy when these motherfuckers don't hide what they're doing, or if they are hiding, people just, whatever. Forgot what I was going to say, and, well, it doesn't really matter because no one's watching anyway. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we start off with a good song to get us in the mood. So while we're getting in the mood, I'm going to go... Actually, I don't have to open the windows now. Cool.
They always offended, it's often admitted. I'm all independent, I irritate those awfully wicked. Wait, pause for a minute. Bryson, why you causing division? I loved your music, now you're homophobic, all for attention. They say I'm only popular because I'm controversial. But is it that your favorite rappers all with pop commercial? Y'all got Spotify to ban my songs, I guess my topics hurt you. Do y'all miss real hip-hop because this the time reversal? The baby can promote violence and drugs all on his CD, but he'll get canceled if he ever offends LGBT. I know everybody hates me, but I also know they need me. But they cancel me because I don't succumb my freedoms freely. And hip-hop wasn't always like this, bruh, believe me. Now rappers wearing dresses and calling each other sweetie. Well, somebody gotta say it, huh? Why can't it be me? Can I say screw Dr. Fauci? Can I say screw
yes,
the
you can
CDC?
say
Hey, Bryson, tone it down.
Here.
You know we need your voice. God of the world. Well, that's an easy choice. Who has time for some white guy to BLM face mask? Playing my music, screaming everything that I say is bad. I can't bow down to the mob cause I'm too real. I can't be controlled cause I don't need a deal. They say you going way too far, you need to chill. Sorry, I don't really...
So I was looking at, this is just completely random. So Taiwan, let me find it again. Or Vietnam, who had 90% tariffs on our goods, suddenly wants to drop their tariffs down to 0 on U.S. goods. Interesting.
Care about how you feel, ayy. I can't bow down to the mob cause I'm too real. I can't be controlled cause I don't need a deal. They say you going way too far, you need to chill, ayy. Sorry, I don't really care about how you feel.
I resurfaced on purpose, I'm Houdini. Now I ain't going nowhere like I'm Tim Pool's beanie. I got permanent sermons and words that can burn through a genie. I could perfectly search for the surface and fly like an eagle, praise Jesus. Your favorite rapper is satanic, great panic in the place. It ain't safe to be straight magic. Play patterns in your face till your brain scrambles from bass samples. Can't handle the heat, then get away from the flame candles. Don't quote this song, just say a prayer to the Holy Cross. I flip like motocross cause the news is faker than Photoshop. My flow is cold and hot, it's like Noah's Ark next to molten rock. So when I'm focused on being close to God, I can open locks. Big Pharma must be lobbying rappers cause they be telling
Yeah, you know Big Pharma's all about lobbying rappers. So this is a story of a sovereign citizen who, didn't want to give his name. He's a citizen of a world. He's a world citizen, which is kind of made up by one guy in the 50s. And I guess it just caught on from there. It's more of a political party than anything. So let's continue.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, hello, folks.
Well, hello, and welcome back to the channel, everybody. In today's video, we find ourselves at an accident scene that escalates out of control, and we find out that we've got a pair of Sovtards on our hand in this particular situation, and one of them is wanted for arson in another state. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this freaking S-show on the road, shall we? Oh yeah, before we continue on, don't forget to thank Bodycam Files for this particular video. So rate, comment, share, and subscribe any of their videos at your leisure. So let's carry on, shall we?
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
What's going on?
I was backing up and we just pulled in, and we stopped, and then I went to pull forward my parked already.
Okay.
Down there.
Hold on, sir, hold on 1 second, okay? So you were just backing out right here?
Yeah, I didn't talk to him first.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. See how they talked to him first? Yeah, the officer just arrived on the scene and talked to the first person he saw. Is there something wrong with that, dumbass? But wait, there's a lot more to come, and the Sovereign Citizen gravy train starts about halfway through the video. So until then, enjoy watching these two act like a pair of obnoxious jackasses. Until then.
How am I supposed to know who to talk to? He's out of his vehicle.
You're getting out of your car, just getting my insurance information.
I don't know why he's mad at me. I mean, he's just out here talking.
Well, because he sees that his lady called the police and you're talking to the person who hit us first.
Okay. Do you have your insurance? Sir, do you have your insurance? No, it doesn't make sense. But
It doesn't make sense?
no, it doesn't. I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I said.
called. It was just said 911 call saying there was an accident, and I come to respond. And I talk to somebody who's out of the vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it would be cool if you guys would be like,
We don't take the calls. The comm center does.
yeah, I know.
So why don't you talk about the issue?
Whose car called?
Ma'am, I'm here taking an accident report for you. It doesn't
I
matter
know
who called. It
exactly,
doesn't. He said he's at fault
Just
for.
talk to me when you're done.
Okay,
Yeah, bye.
I need your insurance if you'd like to. Okay.
My wife's on the way up with the insurance card. She lives right around the corner.
Okay. Yeah, actually, yeah. You said your insurance right around the corner?
Yeah, it should be right there.
Okay, alright. So you were backing out and they were pulling in?
No,
Yeah.
we were in. We came in. I was coming back, and he honked. I stopped.
Don't lie. We was parked.
Sir, why are you yelling?
Yeah.
Please, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to talk to both you guys and get the story, okay? It's not a big deal, alright?
Why do you have a plow in front of his truck? It
Yes,
doesn't
sir.
look like it's snowing.
I was pulling back. He honked. I stopped.
You were in the spot right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was backing up.
Hey, both of you in the Toyota, you need to, well, sit down, shut up, and listen. It's not all about you. Let the other guy talk for a while, see his side of the story without you interjecting your bullshit into it.
Yeah, I pulled up and honked. I stopped. And when I went to pull forward, I pushed his
Okay, alright. So
This guy already accepted his responsibility. He claimed responsibility. He's the one that's at fault. That's where it should have ended, right? In theory.
you know you're at fault for the accident?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Alright. Okay, well, what happened?
Hey, he gonna let him go off. It's okay.
I parked in my spot,
Okay,
all the way up there.
okay.
He starts to turn and hits me with his
Okay,
thing.
no problem.
Hits the front of my car.
Okay, he's at fault. He knows that. So he's going to get his insurance and get you guys all taken care of.
Mine is the general.
Okay.
The general?
We'll just exchange information because this is private property. We don't take accidents on private property anyway.
Well, the last time somebody did this to me at Kroger years ago, it made me look bad because I didn't report it to you guys.
What do you mean it made me look bad?
Because I didn't file a report for my insurance.
Okay.
They said, they made it look like, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. And I said, you know, next time somebody does something to my car in any
I don't know,
parking lot
I've
or anywhere,
never heard
I
of it.
need to report it to the police so that
Yeah.
it will go through insurance.
Yeah, we'll make
So what are you
documentation of it.
saying?
We don't take private property auto accidents. So if it's on the roadway, we take an accident, requires an accident on the roadway, this is UDS private property. So what we'll do is we'll get his information, his insurance information, and you'll contact his insurance company, and then he's going to do the same thing, and they'll get everything taken care of that way,
But
okay?
are you making a report of this, yes or no?
No,
Why?
because it's on private property.
But like I said, last time I got hit in Kroger, coming out of my parking lot, wasn't my fault at all.
Yeah.
State Farm Insurance. They put a ding on my...
So you had State Farm and now you have the general. That's a downgrade, isn't it?
stuff. And even though I haven't been in accidents for years, I'm an excellent driver.
Then why do you have the general?
But because of this, and there's no police report,
Yeah, we'll make, like I said, there's going to be documentation that we're here. You guys are involved. It's all on my body camera. I know you're recording it as well, sir. I've recorded everybody here the entire time. He told me what happened. He told me he clipped you with a snowplow, so he's at fault. He told me he knows that. We just don't take private property auto accident reports because it's on private property. It's not on the roadway.
So where's the report going to be that you're taking or a note that you're going to
There's going to be a blotter saying we came out here for an accident.
A blotter.
Yep, and it's going to have both you guys attached to it.
Yep.
Do you have your ID on you? Sir, do you want to be included on that?
Get ready, everybody. He's about to do something stupid.
Yeah, get ready. This is where the sovereign citizen bullshit starts to come out with Mr. Johnny Five right here. And just in case you don't remember the reference to Short Circuit, here's a brief clip.
Johnny Five.
Oh, don't fire. Don't light a match.
Well, when you gotta go, don't
Input.
the sermon.
Need input.
Sir, would you like to be included on that since you're in the vehicle? I'm sorry?
This is her vehicle, number one.
Okay, well, you're talking to me, so I figured you'd want to be included on it.
Yep.
Why are you
My name is
asking
Five.
me?
What is that?
My name is Five.
Your name is Five?
Yeah.
You mean
Okay,
like
well, that
7
doesn't
of
seem
9?
like what's your last name?
You're not supposed to be asking me my last name.
Do you want to be on the? Do you want to be on
What
there?
do you mean, not
You
supposed to?
said you would like. You
That's
said
the
you would
fifth.
like
I'm
documentation
pleading
of the
the
police
fifth.
report, correct?
I'm pleading
You
the
said
fifth.
there's no police report.
Why are you pleading the fifth right here? You're not being accused of a crime. You're not in court. I mean, that's just asinine right there.
Okay. You said you would like to be included on the documentation, correct, sir?
He did not say that to you.
Well, he did.
We are asking what it is.
Okay. He wants documentation of it. So if he wants to be a part of it, I will make him a part of it. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to. Okay. I'll take that as a you don't want to, sir. Do you have your ID on you, miss? I don't understand why you guys are being so hostile towards me.
Because you came up and went to him first.
Ma'am,
But
He
I'm
would
not
have-
really
Hi.
vehicle and you have the windows up.
If you're the one that called the cops, and you saw the cop car pull up, why did you not get out of the fucking car until after the other guy was approached? And it wasn't even you.
Just because he's out of the
Don't argue.
vehicle doesn't...
We'll
and-
deal with
yeah.
I pulled up and you guys are both in the vehicle.
If you don't
Both
have
the
anything
windows
nice
are
to
up.
say, just let us speak.
Me? I don't have anything nice to say?
I said if you don't.
I've not said anything mean to you guys one time. I don't understand why you
If
guys
it's
are being
not mean
hostile
to
towards
you,
me.
doesn't mean it's not mean to us.
Okay.
When we're the ones who called for help, you're saying just because he was outside, you spoke to him first. I'm
Yes,
the one who called
that's
for
how
help.
it works, miss.
Yeah, that's how it works. If you want to get service first, you jump out
Yep.
and get the officer's attention before he goes to talk to the other guy. I mean, that's just common damn sense. But then again, common sense to sovereign citizens is practically non-existent, which is why, of course, they are sovereign citizens instead of actual, intelligent people.
Say that guy punched me. You're going to go to him first?
You're
Quit
talking about
talking to
hypotheticals.
him, Amber.
I get it.
Quit talking to
I get it.
him.
What else
What's
do
your
you
phone
need?
number, miss?
470.
Alright. And you were completely stopped when he hit you?
I was all the way up in my spot.
Okay. You were wearing a
All
seatbelt and
the way.
everything?
You see
Yes.
Why are you upset with me? I have to ask these questions.
Man, don't ask me that question, please.
Okay. Can I see
You're
your
laughing
insurance,
at me,
please?
but, yeah, you're being cruel.
Okay. Can I see your insurance, please, miss?
I told you I was looking it up, and I have the general. You can just write it down.
Okay, I
You
need
should
an
better
insurance
pull it up.
policy.
You didn't get his?
I'm waiting on his.
Okay, you have to wait on mine, too. I don't know my password. If you don't mind, I'll
Just
give it
pull
to
mine
you.
up.
I'm sorry?
I'll bring it to you when I get it.
All three of them.
I'm moving away.
Okay.
You want? So I'm gonna give you my world citizen number.
You have
Here
the
you go.
insurance?
She's got. I'm gonna give you my world. Oh, this is from the United States. I need your name. Okay. Thank you for the info.
Well, that's one Sovtard myth I haven't heard in a long time. The World Citizen ID. Yeah, you have to be especially stupid to believe that exists. And I'm not talking about the average run-of-the-mill Sovtard. I'm talking somebody who's truly the bottom of the barrel Sovtard of stupidity. It's just one of those things where I want to be a citizen of this country, but I don't want the responsibilities, just the privileges.
So I'm gonna give you my world citizen ID number. I need your badge number at the same time. My name is Mr. Tracy.
Okay.
My world citizen ID number. Write this down.
I don't know what a
because
world citizen
you're
ID
gonna
number
find
is.
out. You're gonna find out.
We don't take
No,
that
no,
shit.
no.
It's not about to. You don't take it.
Yeah.
Okay, you see what this thing say right here? It says to the government of the United States of America concerning Mr. Tracy William Henderson. You wanted my ID. It's a valid ID. I'm gonna get.
It is not a valid ID. World citizen is a made-up fucking title in 1950s by a guy that used to be a bomber pilot and then decided, you know what? I want to be different.
Give you my
No,
ID.
I asked you if you'd like to be included on the
That's why
documentation.
I'm putting you in on it. I'm putting you in. I'm putting myself in on it. So you have to take my world citizen ID now.
Well, I don't know what a world citizen ID
You'll
is.
find
number,
out, sir. You'll find out. Education is a beautiful thing.
It is.
I'll agree with that, Sovtard. Education is a beautiful thing, but unfortunately, you seem to be one of the most poorly educated people out there. So that wonderful thing kind of waved bye-bye to you a long time ago.
It doesn't recognize
Yes, they
anything as a
do.
world
Yes, they
citizen
do.
ID,
Yes, they
but
do.
okay.
You think they don't, but
Nobody
you'll find
I
out.
don't know why
recognizes.
you're being so
I'm
confrontational with
not
me,
being
sir.
confrontational.
You are. What's your name, sir? Tracy what? 5. So were you lying to me before?
Yep.
Well, Tracy comes to 5.
Okay. Tracy what?
Yep.
And your date of birth, sir?
925.
And a good phone number for you.
You got the one for her.
Okay. Perfect.
My number is, you need to write this number down.
I'll
It's
write it
World
down
Service,
for you.
World Service Authority.
Okay.
The number is 919.
What the
Alrighty.
fuck? There's an application for this? Yo, get the fuck out of here. Yo, there's literally an application for this. If you want a world passport for 10 years, it is $125. If you want a world passport for 15 years, it's $500. Do you want identification card? $35. Birth card, dude, you could pretty much make your own fucking identity with this shit. How the fuck is it even official?
What's it for?
I don't know. It says 2 felony. Well, it says no extradition outside California, actually.
Which guy is it to?
It's this guy right here. He's extremely hostile.
Uh-oh. Did you
So it's
say
good.
warrant?
It says it's full extradition.
Full extradition?
Where's he at?
Yeah, that's what the database says. It's full extradition for those felonies, but that's not what the Sovtard will say here in a minute, that they don't want them. Yeah, sure. Okay, whatever fantasy world you're living in, can I come too?
Yes.
Because it must be wonderful.
You said it's the guy with the head thing on, right?
Yeah, the male black.
Alright.
Where?
With the truck?
Man.
Just say the black guy.
With the truck?
That just got in the van?
Yeah.
Hands on. Gloves.
Hey, come over here, man.
No, I ain't coming over
No,
here.
come over here. Come on.
Hey, look,
He knows.
he go trying to snatch me. You got to check my warrant.
No,
No, I ain't got
How do you know you have a
Fuck
warrant?
grabbing on me.
Ah, so you know about the warrants, huh? Is that why you were trying to give all this sovereign citizen bullshit because you believed that would save your sorry ass? If you thought that, then you've been consuming way too many products laced with lead these days.
Are you holding on me?
Yes, you
Are
have
you
a
got?
warrant.
What about me? What?
What about you?
I don't have no. They go iron.
hold on.
They not taking me. California don't want me.
Okay, you got a
California
felony warrant till we figure it out.
felony warrant for arson.
They didn't
Watch
want
them
you
say they
to
don't
do
want
full
me.
extradition.
No, it
Here's-
don't.
Your phone so we don't
They
break
don't
it.
say full extradition. They done stopped me since 1998.
Back up.
They done stopped me since 1998.
Being detained until we figure
They
it out.
stopped me since 1998.
So you've been on the run since 98?
1998. You can call them right now. And they gonna say, let me go.
I want
No, they trying to take my phone, babe. Come get my phone, babe. They trying to take. Why are you trying to hurt me?
Now you're under arrest for resistance.
I'm not.
Oh.
I got my hands behind my back.
Uh-oh.
Don't bend my arms. Get back. My arms are behind my back. Get back. My arms are behind my back, sir.
Start another car
My
now.
arms are behind my back.
Back up now.
My arms are behind
When getting an
my back.
attitude goes
They're
wrong.
going to tell you they don't want me. I've been telling you that. They're going to say they don't. And
You're under arrest too. We told you to back up 3 times.
You
Uh-oh.
guys!
Here, I got it.
This is not okay. This is not okay.
We asked you to back up until we figured it out, okay? Well, now you're under arrest for resisting, so it doesn't matter.
He's not resisting arrest. He's trying to tell you what we were just...
Okay, and we can figure that out once you guys cooperate. That's all it takes.
I'm not resisting.
You are.
No,
Pushing
I'm
up
not.
off the cars resisting.
I don't know what you're...
Wait, coming off the cars is
Ever,
resisting?
ever,
Hold on.
trouble before my
Did
life.
we ask you to back up?
I was trying to get this phone.
No, that's not your job to get this phone. No one's hurting him.
Stop, stay. I cannot believe this. This guy hits my car. He is not even wanted. We have been in contact with the Attorney General because he was getting his substitute teacher's license. This is crazy.
Oh, okay.
I would not trust this guy in a classroom whatsoever with any grade level.
Maybe he's
Especially
a
since if
constitutional
he
law scholar.
deviates from the curriculum that the regular teacher has for him, well, there are going to be some parents that are going to be, well, want some splaining.
But it's
That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do.
Put my stuff back in my pocket, please.
Nope. Don't evidence bag.
Go get
Personal effects bag.
They don't say that they don't want me. LA is closed right now.
Listen. And you know what? As soon as they told us that, you would have been free to go. But you were being detained.
I'm not being...
Because there is a warrant for your arrest.
They say they don't want me. This thing's been since 19...
We don't
Where's
know
your
that,
warrant for
Terrence,
this?
Tracy. We've never
Have a
talked
seat,
to them.
please. Have a seat.
I'm claustrophobic. I'm right here. Can you just let me sit here?
No, have a seat.
I said I'm going to sit in the car.
I don't...
Claustrophobic.
Kick
I'm
your
going
feet
to
in the
sit
car.
right here.
Kick your feet in the
Did you
car.
put my
We're done
ID
playing.
back?
You were
Yeah,
just
I
sitting
got
in
it.
the front seat of a fucking minivan.
Yeah, she can be charged too. She obstructed the entire time.
Well,
We had a
looks like the car's gonna get towed.
Dude, if you were playing all this sovereignness and garbage to get out of your crimes, then, well, it's not exactly going to work out for you. It never really works, especially with that, well, World Citizen ID garbage. I mean, what the hell does that do for you? It doesn't absolve you from
It gives the
anything you've
people
done
money.
in the past.
It.
And it sounds to me like this guy's got way too much of a criminal history to even be around any children whatsoever in a classroom setting that could potentially put children's lives in danger. And that is just a straight up fact, Jack. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you.
Tonight, 7 News reporter Michael Schwartz.
Stupid fuck literally walked himself into a fucking ticket. Not a ticket. He walked himself into an arrest. He knew he had a warrant. She knew he had a warrant. And they're all, hold on. And then they still wanted to act retarded. It could have been simple. Could have been simple. But nah. No. He wanted to be overdramatic. And everybody overreacts when they're being overdramatic. And then when the consequences of being overdramatic come crashing down, don't cry. Don't cry. You had a warrant for arson, which means you probably pee in the bed and you're a bitch. Now we're going to switch to Trump's tariffs. A lot of people have been afraid of these tariffs. Oh my God, they're going to make prices in the U.S. go way up. If you actually paid attention to the tariffs that he's proposing, a lot of them are at 10% flat across the world because that's what they've been charging us. Now, there's countries that be charging 90%, Vietnam, and they were going to get tariffed at 45%, and look what happened. Now they want zero tariffs, which would mean free trade amongst both countries. But people don't want free trade. They don't want reciprocal tariffs. They'd rather we continue to get ripped off for the goods of other countries. Right? Or that we send to other countries. If that's the case, why don't we just keep them in country and help our own people? Yeah. A lot of those countries on that list are also Muslim. But let's see what everyday Americans feel.
Went to the Made in America store in Elma on their 15th anniversary in business.
It's a special day at the Made in America store in Elma.
I opened April 3rd, 2010 on a Saturday. It was almost 90 degrees. A little different weather, but beautiful day. Local beers.
A different climate 15 years ago for Mark Andel, owner of the Made in America store.
Back then, I had lost a major account to China with my General Welding and Fabricating.
As a business owner, the international logistic issues led him to open this store where he now sells 15,000 different products, 100% made in America. Yet none of them require batteries.
Not one item, 15 years of searching, not one item that takes a battery or plugs in. You know, with the different tariffs going on, it's going to make people focus on our country.
The new reciprocal tariffs just rolled out by President Trump highlight tariffs on imports from 90 nations.
But I don't worry about shipping containers. I don't worry about tariffs. Buy Made in America. I tell people, you don't like tariffs, buy Made in America.
Do you think that with the tariffs now, this could help push more to be made and sold in America?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, how can you not do that? I mean, a lot of these other countries are screaming bloody murder that, you know, it's going to affect them. Well, it should affect them.
Keeps American people working.
Always been a supporter of our country and what we can do to help our own. So I like coming to Made in America, and the products are wonderful. It's nice to buy American.
This is going to make the consumer get a little more educated, see what's made in America. If it's not, I think somebody is going to be sharp enough. We've got some sharp people that can use new technologies to make products, and this is going to force that to happen, I truly believe.
Michael Schwartz, 7 News, Elma.
Approving a protocol.
My daughter
Really
found
interesting
out
protocol.
Etsy orders that somebody, I guess, is on their social media saying that she had to spend an extra $300-something on an Etsy package. Correct me if I'm wrong, and that's what I told her. Etsy is home, private people, not Chinese people. And if she had to pay $300 for a box, what was in that box, Margaret? What was in that box? T-shirts? I could see T-shirts running $300+. Come on. Common sense, Margaret. Now from corrupt world economics to corrupt people in the NIH, not named Fauci?
Using this microdialysis.
Welch is
wording. I had suggested like ethnicity or ancestry instead of race.
James Welch is caught on our hidden camera talking about manipulating language to circumvent government oversight, specifically DOGE oversight.
You guys remember when they were doing the same thing with COVID numbers?
Grants aren't getting canceled. We're intramural, so we get to do basically whatever we approve.
Yeah.
We can do it. We have the money.
Certain experiments happening within the walls of NIH's own buildings. They can do basically anything as long as they have the money.
My mom told me today not to shoot
This is one of those guys where if Doge wants to fire somebody like him, the whole entire country, left side's like, oh no, he's firing another guy that works for the federal government. This is the people that he needs to get rid of. The corrupt motherfuckers. And then some of the ones that just show up, twiddle their thumbs and get paid $66,000. Wait, that's me. Federal government gets paid 6 figures. My bad.
Been buying guns. They won't let me close enough to these people.
The NIH genetic counselor within the NIH tells us on hidden camera that his mother told him not to shoot anybody.
Well, why not be prepared? I just want to go down what are your views on it? You're asking me a lot of questions. I have not got a chance to ask your questions. I was just thinking it'd be funny if you were like a government spy who's like, what are they planning, James?
I'm James O'Keefe. You work with the NIH. This is you on camera. I heard you had a really bad day. You're about to have a worse day. I'm James O'Keefe here outside Washington, D.C., standing outside the headquarters of the National Institute of Health, NIH.
Where's RFK?
It's within this building that a man named James Welch works. He's the genetic counselor and researcher.
So the National Institute of Health was founded in 1798? Interesting.
Named James.
Well, not 1798. I said 17, right? It's supposed to be 17.
Welch works. He's the genetic counselor and research coordinator for NDDK. That's National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases. It appears in this undercover video that Welch and the PI, that's principal investigator he's working with, his counseling, are seeking allowance on a clinical trial regarding using microdialysis to test cortisol levels in black and white women for research.
I work both with the patients and then also with like the PIs, the principal investigators writing their studies, running their studies. For our institute, I'm one of the people who writes protocols, you know, like, oh, this is a good study. Like yesterday, I was approving a protocol, really interesting protocol, using this microdialysis to test cortisol levels. One of our investigators wants to test it in women, black women and white women. People, it's stratified by whether you have metabolic dysfunction and whether you're African American or a white woman.
Where things get interesting is the political bias that James Welch, genetics counselor, appears to be injecting into the process to circumvent government oversight, specifically DOGE oversight. He specifically calls out DOGE, says that DOGE is cutting grants for research that includes certain key words.
There are banned words that they're cutting grants for any research that has. Two of the words are women and female, cutting grants for any of the DEI research.
Women and female, or is there a trans in front of it?
Some of the suggestions are adult girl, XX. Like, how do you can't. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
Woman isn't banned. Man, male, men isn't banned.
Here, the NIH counselor, James Welch, is coaching the applicant to change the wording of this application within NIH to avoid triggering what James Welch thinks is some type of algorithm intentionally guiding the application process within NIH to circumvent government oversight. The problem, of course, with manipulating the language is this has nothing to do with science or technical excellence.
So I was trying to help her, like, suggest wording. Like, we approved it, but we're like, maybe, because our grants aren't getting canceled,
Maybe they should.
So we get to do basically whatever we approve, we can do it. We have the money.
Intramural research refers to certain experiments happening within the walls of NIH's own buildings. Now, James Welch says they can do basically anything as long as they have the money, if it's intramural.
She's taking out the stratifying by race, and I'm like, yeah. So I had to go and look at like what was leaked as far as the banned words that Doge is just like Control F searching for,
What's up, Zip?
and like figure out what to suggest that she use.
We spoke with a senior official in the administration regarding Doge. They've told us there's no real policy there except general prohibitions on racial preferences. We haven't been able to find or ascertain anything specifically regarding racial preferences in health. So this official within NIH appears to be conjuring this up or creating this algorithm in his own mind. Remember, the NIH is an executive branch agency. It's the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. This is an executive branch agency.
Yep.
And some say here he's circumventing the will of President Trump and Robert F. Kennedy.
After experiencing 4 years of a volatile economy, America is facing record inflation and a massive threat to the U.S. dollar. OMG.com, that's FisherOMG.com, FisherOMG.com.
Referencing his conversations with this principal investigator at NIH, he says that they are changing the words from race in the application to ancestry. Of course, the problem with that is a matter of science. This was a racial study.
If they really want to do that, I can put Egyptian and get my NAACP scholarships, right?
Like, just make it not the primary objective, make it a secondary objective, and change the word race to ancestry. I had suggested like ethnicity or ancestry instead of race.
Ancestry is not a criteria in the clinical research protocol. So that change that Welch is proposing with his PI is misleading. Some would say unethical. Some might even call it a violation of the Hatch Act because it's introducing bias and political bias in what should be science.
Any discussion of side effects is like, oh, you're RFK Jr. You know what I mean? It's like, no, these things are affecting the body.
Yeah. How do you feel about him taking over?
His family will tell you he's the weird one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this NIH official who doesn't hide his disdain for Doge also doesn't hide his disdain for his boss, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You know how he's always the weird cousin?
Yeah.
He's the weird cousin.
Mm-hmm.
The Kennedys aren't for him. They'll tell you that he's fucking weird. He's not the guy you put in charge of anything.
He also says they should pull down President Trump's portrait within NIH and replace it with Russian President Putin's face.
They put up portraits of Trump, Vance, and RFK in the clinical center. Somebody tore them down immediately. Then they hung them on the other side of the building near the Starbucks up above a TV, so they're too high for people to get to.
Yeah.
And so somebody like printed out rapist with an arrow and posted it next to Trump. And I was thinking,
interesting. So a federal government organization blatantly defaced the President of the United States' photo and replaced the President of the United States with President Vladimir Putin's picture. Are they still employed by the NIH?
that I should print out a portrait of Putin and put it upstream of Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's clearly like Trump, man. It's like this like hierarchy.
How do you feel about with what Doge is doing, and with the job cuts and everything?
Yeah. So at NIH, it's going to be 1,200, which is devastating. I mean, it's crazy to fire 300 people, but it's like it only makes sense if they're doing whatever Putin wants. You know, it's just it seems to be very like against. It's just against the best interests of our country.
The NIH genetic counselor within the NIH tells us on hidden camera that his mother told him not to shoot anybody, and Welch told our undercover journalist, quote, "They won't let me close enough to these fucking people at work at NIH."
Has anyone retaliated?
Whoa. He should be fired after that comment, if he did make that comment.
Any plans on retaliating?
I appreciate that concept, and I tend to agree. My mom told me today not to shoot anybody because I've been buying guns. But I'm like, they won't let me close enough to these people.
Why are you buying guns?
Just thinking about like worst case scenarios and being like, well, why not be prepared? You know what I mean? I just want to go down like a.
In recent months, many of our fellow Americans, the healthcare kit were approved along with situations threatening with virus happening. Check out.
So reporting outside this NIH facility in Bethesda, Maryland, this is James O'Keefe with OMG. If you're on the inside of these institutions who want to hear from you, we'll protect you, we'll tell your stories. It's important to have.
I hope this guy gets investigated. I haven't really received an update on that except for this one from yesterday, which was the same night. And I'm pretty sure O'Keefe will have Friday. Yeah, he'll probably have a live stream today.
Hey.
Well, Zip. He's talking about bringing it inside a federal building in D.C. I don't think he can carry a weapon in D.C. into a federal building, not being law enforcement.
James O'Keefe, you work with the NIH. This is you on camera. I heard you had a really bad day. You're about to have a worse day. This is you on camera talking about giving information to people, taking out the word race. You remember this?
Like yesterday, I was approving a protocol to figure out what to suggest that you use. I had suggested like ethnicity or ancestry instead of race.
Isn't that deceitful?
You just get out of my way.
Yeah, I'm out of your way. Isn't that deceitful what you did, sir? It's a lie.
I don't know what I didn't lie.
You're on video. Changing the words? But you did lie.
I absolutely.
You said changing the words from race to ancestry. Why would you change the words? Why would you? But you would change the words. Isn't that deceitful, sir?
Absolutely not.
It's not a matter of scientific accuracy, though.
Absolutely it was.
How so?
It was. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. You're on video. You do know what I'm talking about. We're here with the guy inside the NIH who's driving away in his Tesla. Listen, you work for the government.
But he hates Doge.
Sir, you're avoiding accountability by changing the words from race to ancestry. Isn't it true that ancestry isn't the same thing as race for medical clinical trials, sir?
You don't care about people or their health.
I'm a journalist. I care very much about people. You said I don't care about health. You're the one changing the words in the clinical trials, sir.
I believe in good science. I believe in protecting
How
the
many
people.
miles a day?
And why did you say it's ancestry instead of race?
For accuracy, scientific accuracy.
That doesn't sound accurate, though.
I'm an expert. You're not.
I'm an expert. You're not. Are you kidding me? I'm an expert. You're.
We know just how effective experts are in this country.
Not. The deceit of these people. The conceit of these people. So the NIH official staggering towards his white Tesla, backing up, saying I'm in his way. I'm not in his way. He could clearly walk from where he was into his vehicle, claiming I'm disrupting him. Then we conduct the interview. He rolls his window down and proceeds to talk to me. He says that I don't care about people, that he cares about people, and he is not being deceitful, even though in the video he clearly changes the words from race to ancestry to circumvent Doge. Clearly pissed off. He's had a bad day. He even told our undercover journalist via text message, it's a bloodbath at work, people losing their jobs. So I didn't want to make his day worse, but I was kind of surprised he didn't just drive away. He kept talking to me.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
I think he was in a state of shock. He rolled the window down. He said as he was driving away, he said that he cares about people, I don't. He says to me as he's driving away in his Tesla, which that's ironic, by the way. He said that I don't care about people. He cares about people. Of course, we care deeply about people. We want people to know what's going on in their government. And anybody who's against the mission of people knowing what's going on doesn't seem to care about people. They always either run away, assault me, call the police, or say nothing. That was like everything but calling the police right there and assaulting. Very interesting.
And I mean,
Here
he
in
did
Bethesda, Maryland. Stay tuned. It's always an adventure.
No accountability. And then obviously when it's right there in front of you, hey, you did this. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, it's on recording. Well, that wasn't me. No, it was definitely, here's your face. I never said that. Now, we saw one guy that had a warrant for an arrest for arson. This is a little different circumstance. This dude also had a warrant for his arrest, but he also... Hold on, let me make sure I don't... Oh, fuck it. You guys are going to find out anyway. This guy had a pistol on him, a BB gun, a pellet gun. What a retard. But he did get shot. I think he deserved more for his crime, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's continue.
24. Deputies with the Frederick County Sheriff's Office in Maryland were dispatched to the Super 8 Motel in an attempt to locate 45-year-old Jack Edgar Primer of Freedom, Pennsylvania. Primer was wanted on a felony warrant out of Beaver County, Pennsylvania for child sexual assault, abuse, and possession of child pornography. Deputies located Primer's vehicle in the parking lot, confirmed which room he was in, and moved in for the arrest. Unknown to officers at the time, Primer was armed with a loaded gun.
Sheriff's office.
Who is it?
Sheriff's office, come to the door. What do you want? We need to talk to you. About what? You know what? Open the door.
For why?
Now. Hey, right now, I got a gun.
Stupid.
So do we. Open the door.
Classic.
With your hands up.
Classic response.
Now. Hey, right now, I got a gun. So do we. Open the door with your hands up. Now. Now.
Shouldn't somebody have less lethal? At least one.
No, open Open the door now. We'll figure that out. Come out now. Open the door. Hey.
I wonder why they never got a masterpiece.
Get behind over there. Open the door. Come now. Hey. Get Leslie.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
You got your camera on?
Oh, that's a pretty shitty time.
Mr. Brimmer, open the door. Now.
I'd rather have the green dot than the red dot, to be honest.
Don't anybody get hurt. Mr. Brimmer. Time to open the door. Jared, you got hands.
Okay, so now it's 2 guns, 1 lethal, non-lethal, and 1 hands.
All right, switch the hands.
No crossfire. Good job.
Come out now. Come out now. You know you have a warrant. Come out now. Right now. You have a warrant. You're under arrest. Come out right now. Open the door and come out now.
Uh-oh.
With your hands up, slowly.
You unlock the door from the bathroom?
Yeah, for now. Mr. Brimmer, we're not going anywhere. Let's end this peacefully.
Through the next hour, officers held their position and waited for heavy armor, additional units, and for SWAT teams to take over. Officers then took up firing positions, ensuring that Brimmer could not escape from his window. What happened next took everyone by surprise.
Nope.
Hold on. Drop it! Drop it! Drop the gun! Drop it! Drop it!
A second angle from a hotel security camera captured a better view of what appeared to be the suspect brandishing a handgun.
Drop the gun! All right, gun's out in the hallway. Come out now!
You can't.
Right, we're not. Let the dust settle. Gun in there. Hang on. That's right. Yes, get that. Gun in. Hang on.
Mr. Cool Guy with the P-Mags.
I don't know. Anyone else here? What did you? Just come on, man. I'm not dangerous. He's out. He's back in his room. All right, it's fine. We're not doing anything. Hey, keep your hands in the air.
Oh, wait, Yeti.
Hands in the air.
Wait.
Get in here. Get your mask. Hands in the air.
Wait to hear what kind of gun it is. I think I already said it. Fuck.
That's all right. That's all right. Don't move. All right, listen.
Why is he the only
He's
one?
down over there. We need to move up in hands. Okay. Who's got hands? We're moving up.
Putting the hands
You
down?
guys got hands? Ready? No. Whoever's got hands. Mendez, come out. We're coming. Do not move. Don't move. We need moving hands forward. With gloves. Hands with gloves. Do not move. I have one glove. Do not move. Do not move. Do not move. Do not move. What's up, pellet gun? Okay. All right. Take him in custody. All right, turn. Gotta get in custody.
Look, he painted the door so he wouldn't take his firstborn.
Start EMS.
I like how they're nice and calm, too.
Stairwell. We're good. Stairwell. All right, you're good. You're good. You're good. We need a med kit if somebody.
Move into the room, dude.
Sheriff's office. Need a room. Make yourself known. Not a tourniquet. Gonna need balls.
Follow him in there, asshole.
Here's your balls right here. This is quick mark.
So the dude shot in the abdomen. Okay. This is just me, because I know the difference, but putting quick clot gauze in the fucking abdomen is just fucking stupid.
have more? Or... We need to
Yeah,
check the
cut.
other side too. Yep. What about on the other side? We need to check the other side. So. Flip them. Does anybody have more balls? EMS is coming. I don't see any. They're coming up. Here, can you drop in your stomach? In your stomach? He says he's hitting the stomach somewhere. I see a hole there.
He's not wearing a shirt. You should be able to see it. Where the blood coming from?
No, that's not a hole. That's. Oh yeah, it is. It is a hole.
One there, one in there. I think one underneath the armpit, maybe right there.
It could be exit, or I don't know.
Now, the armpit one, I will 100% approve of the quick clock, guys. Not the abdomen.
In your foot? He's got something in his foot. Tourniquet on a leg.
The handgun that Primer brandished turned out to be a Crossman SNR 357, which is designed to shoot BBs or pellets. According to a press release put out by the Frederick County Sheriff's Office, Primer was transported to the University of Maryland Shock Trauma Unit in Baltimore by Maryland State Police helicopter, where he was stabilized and survived his wounds. According to Maryland court documents, Primer was extradited to Pennsylvania on August 27, 2024. Pennsylvania court documents reveal that Primer faces 31 felony counts of child sex abuse by photographing a sex act, 230 felony counts of child pornography, 1 count of criminal use of a communication facility, and a misdemeanor count of corruption of minors. He also faces a second case stemming from previous criminal acts allegedly committed in 2021, which involve a laundry list of felonies including 2 counts of involuntary, deviant sexual intercourse of a person less than 16 years of age, 2 counts of rape threat of forcible compulsion, 2 counts of sexual assault, aggravated indecent assault of a minor, statutory sexual assault of a child 8 to 11 years old, unlawful sexual contact with a minor, 2 counts of corruption of minors, 2 counts of rape of an unconscious victim, and 51 counts of indecent assault of a person less than 13 years of age.
Oh shit, there's more.
Primer also faces a third trial where he was charged with 15 felony counts of child pornography and a single felony count of criminal use of a communication facility stemming from alleged crimes committed in...
With all those 3 different cases, how the fuck was he still free? How is he still free, walking the streets? Makes absolutely no fucking sense in the world. But why was he walking the streets with all those different counts of rape, child porn, making child porn, and he's still walking the streets up until this point? Well, he's not walking the streets right now. I believe his next case is tomorrow. I went to look it up yesterday because I thought this was more recent or whatever. But yeah.
2017. As of March 3rd, a hearing was scheduled for April 1st, 2025.
Well, don't forget he did it on 2 counts of an unconscious minor.
Consolidate all cases for trial. Midwest Safety independently verified that Jack Primer is currently being held at Beaver County Jail awaiting trial. He is innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law.
Now, there's absolutely nothing like responding to a call to apprehend a wanted felon. And of course, we know that all crime is bad. But when the suspect is wanted on crimes that possibly involve children, it's especially...
Bro, look at that. Oh, wait, it's not done yet.
really tough for any law enforcement officer to have to deal with. And it took me years to learn how to separate my personal emotions from the calls that I responded to. And honestly, I never mastered it. However, I always knew that even though some calls made me extremely angry, losing my composure wouldn't be a smart decision. So today, guys, we get a view of the Frederick County Sheriff's Office arriving at a motel, and they're trying to apprehend a white male, Jack Primer, who's wanted on a felony warrant for some very disturbing things. And this is why these calls have to be conducted with planning and strategy. And the deputies likely gathered all the intel on this guy, they confirmed that he's there, and now they have to execute. And as the deputies knock a few times, a male does acknowledge them and asks from behind the closed door, "What do you want?" And we do.
Think about it. He was allowed to walk the streets at least twice. And then the third charges. Like, at what point are they going to be like, you know what? I think this guy could be a danger to the public and children. Maybe we should keep him in jail. Nah. He'll be fine. Just let him loose. He said he won't do it again. Right? He won't do it again. Well, that didn't work. 3 different cases. Multiple rapes. Multiple child pornography. Multiple. Did I say rapes? Because they should be mentioned again. To minors. And like, what does this guy need to do? What, was it the 3rd time was the charm? Or is he going to be charged with 4 different cases now? Because it looks like they're going to consolidate the other 3. So hopefully this dude goes to jail for like 9 billion years. Plus or minus a year. Depending if it's for good behavior or not.
So you're out, sir? You just out here, what, trying to get money?
The person that I deployed with, we deployed twice together at the same time. And fortunately, we came back on in one piece, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Pristine condition. Same where we left. 4 weeks later, he gets into a near-fatal car accident, and the government won't help him out because technically it didn't happen on their time. So.
Technically, the Army doesn't have to take care of the person once they get out for the car accident, because once you're out, you don't have health insurance. So that's a lie.
Right now, he's inundated with medical bills. I told him that anything I can do to help out.
So you were in Iraq? Mm-hmm. Who were you with?
Who was I with?
Yeah.
I was with, when I got deployed my first time, I was replacing somebody who got injured in the line of duty, and I got put with a unit out of Orangeburg, South Carolina.
What were they?
Those, what do you mean what were they?
Like what was their...
What's a battalion?
Was it a battalion, company?
It was,
This dude has no idea what unit he deployed with. His basic excuse was, oh, I got sent over there because I was replacing somebody that died. That's not how that works.
They didn't wear Captain Dispatch. Captain Dispatch was my second. We were under the 3rd TASCOM and was on Toledo Air Force Base.
Your third TASCOM? What battalion were you with? So you were deployed twice, but you don't know who you were with?
No, I don't know what battalion they were with. One person.
You got a combat patch, right?
Yeah.
What is
it?
it?
None of those are combat patches, bro. You have to take your jacket off. Let me see it.
This is for my second sword.
Fix your camera, retard. It's not that hard.
Because on my second charge up in the back, got back on the MOI. I was on JSS Shield.
Okay.
JSS Shield.
So, the reason I say something is because you're collecting money in the United States Army. You know that's not right? Like, no matter what the cause is for, like, you know that ain't right. And on top of that, man, your uniform's all jacked up. You're still wearing rank.
Alright, let's go.
You're misrepresenting the United States Army.
Yeah, you are.
It looks bad. It looks bad on all of us.
Okay, so there is a JSS Shield, correct. But new units came in every year. So you can't tell me which one of those you are. Oh, Comanche Troop, 115 Field Artillery, 215 Field Artillery. What else? I mean, that's just one simple Google search.
Deployed with Thurston State Brigade.
What brigade?
You know what that is? I was running convoys in Afghanistan, man. Lost 5 people.
First time, first time.
But the reason I say something is because we weren't wearing that particular uniform. We were wearing multicams, but it still represents the same thing, man. And you're misrepresenting.
Those are multicam.
You get what I'm saying?
He is wearing multicam.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have a DD-214?
Yeah, I do.
You got it on you?
Actually, yeah.
Who the fuck carries a DD-214?
I'm just curious, man, because it looks bad. It does.
Hey. Thanks, man. In the Navy, dude. Just got back from Virginia Beach. Feel you, pal.
How you doing?
Good, and you?
Got a beautiful day in paradise.
Feel you. You from around here?
Yeah, I'm from Boston.
Where you stationed at?
I'm out.
You out now?
Bro, it's been 6 years. Once I took my uniform off for the final time, I have not put it back on once. I rarely even go in the closet to even see it. What's that? What is that?
Yeah, but 214 though?
Not with me.
No?
I don't carry that shit with me, dude.
Are you still in? Then you won't have one.
That's what I'm saying. They give you one to keep the base.
So, but you get what I'm saying, right?
You know how many times I go?
That's not.
Well, maybe there's something behind it. Huh? Maybe there's something behind it.
What do you want?
Huh?
What do you want?
Air Force.
Nice.
I'm just saying, if many people have said something to you about it, man,
sir.
It looks bad. Can I at least fix your name tape? Or your Air Force tape? Or Army tape? My bad.
Thank you. Oh, no, take that.
You got what I'm saying now?
Well, I don't know why I wanted you to fix it, but I did. I had to do it when he said it. Because it annoyed me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I'm just
Going in
saying.
here, man?
Nah, man.
Grab your drink if you want, bro. Alright. No problem.
A lot less people would be a lot less cool than we are about it.
Huh?
A lot less people would be a lot less cool than I am.
About what? About what?
I'm talking to him about it.
So what?
I'm talking to him about it, man.
About what, though?
About him misrepresenting the United States military uniform.
Nah, man.
He's collecting money in the United States military uniform.
Yeah. But this is not in the military?
It doesn't matter. It still says U.S. Army and specialist on his chest.
You know what? If he's in the Army, dude, it doesn't matter.
It's not.
Not true.
For 2 years.
First of all, you shouldn't be downtown and anywhere in the United States or the world in your uniform hanging out panhandling, whether you're active or not. So obviously this dude, he's not telling the truth. What unit did you deploy with? Well, I replaced somebody. I was at JSS Shield. Maybe your buddy was at JSS Shield. Where'd you get the uniform? Did you go to basic training and fail out?
Yeah, military police.
Anyway.
And then you got that squid that came along at the end. Well, no, dude, you should understand. And he didn't want to tell the squid because the squid was drunk. And if it would have been me, and this dude was like, yeah, this dude's misrepresenting the uniform, I'd be like, what do you mean? And then if he had told me stolen valor, I probably would have cold cocked the dude. That's me drunk. Me sober, I'm gonna make him feel real bad.
Criminal charges tonight for the man accused of tossing a 1-year-old child from a balcony.
This all happened during an argument at the home that the man shared with the child and her mom right near 44th and Hampton. 12 News' Nick Bohr is joining us live in that area. And Nick, the child's mother tells you the baby is remarkably doing well.
All right, she's convinced the man whom she describes as her mom's ex-husband was trying to kill the baby as they tussled up on that balcony there. He tossed her over the side, prosecutors say, as the two of them were up there, the little girl dropping 15 feet to the ground.
That could be fatal.
Stormy Walters is a happy toddler in this video, shot just before her life.
So the typical rule is 3 times your height for it to be like fatal. That's definitely more than 3 times the height of the child.
Nearly ended.
This is my baby involved. She's one. She could have died. She could have really got hurt from that. And I'm just mad. His mom.
Shakira Walters says she's still amazed Stormy didn't suffer more than bruises after she was dropped or thrown from a second-story balcony at their home Thursday by 31-year-old Jaimin Eland, her mom's ex-husband.
She's fine. She's doing great. So, I mean, it's nothing that I can, like really say. Like she's just fine. She's fine. As long as my baby's still breathing. That's it.
According to the criminal complaint charging Eland with substantial battery and physical abuse of a child, he admitted accidentally knocking Stormy over in the kitchen, and that touched off a heated argument with Walters that turned physical. Do you think he was trying to kill her?
He was definitely trying to, because for you to be choking her and you punched her and threw her off the balcony, that was definitely
Are you
trying to kill
your
my baby.
face?
Stormy wound up with just a few bruises. Same for Shakira, who says if she had to do it over, she'd try to calm things down before they turned physical.
Those type of situations, just try to walk away. Just walk away from stuff like things like this, because people can take that anger out on your baby, and babies are defenseless.
And so, Nick, did Eland tell police why he took the baby to the balcony?
Well, no, he did say it was part of an argument, though, that wound up with the two of them again tussling in what he called, quote, a tug of war over the baby up there on that balcony. And when he says that Stormy fell. Well, he remains jailed tonight on $15,000 bail. The child abuse charge carries a prison term of up to 12 years.
And we can see how tall that...
The baby fell? The baby could really barely reach the top of the fucking railing. Okay. His defense is pretty good, right?
A manifesto is a single document that outlines all the factors, intentions, and objectives of an individual act or a series of actions. In this case, a manifesto did not exist.
Okay. Rewind. Death Day. Okay, there it is. March 27th, 2023. Today is the day, yes. The day has finally come. So the MMPD statement, Gerald, can you read it? This is breaking right now against people who are tuning in.
Early in the investigation was suggested that Hale left behind a manifesto detailing motives and intentions. Skipping down, by definition, a manifesto is a mission statement or other document written and disseminated by an individual or group to enumerate or expound upon the guiding principles and beliefs that inform their actions. Regardless of length, a manifesto is a single document that outlines all the factors, intentions, and objectives of an individual act or a series of actions. In this case, a manifesto did not exist.
And then the final thing when I said there were no documents.
What did exist were a series of notebooks, art composition books, and media files created by Hale documenting her planning and preparation for the attack.
Sounds like a manifesto.
And then there was one other statement, I can't read it there, that Hale never left behind a single document explaining why she committed the attack.
Why she specifically targeted the Covenant and what she hoped to gain, if anything, with the attack.
Not a single document explaining any reason as to why she committed the attack. Okay? Rewind.
Oh, sorry.
Death Day.
It's all about protecting the kids, but this story is proof that it wasn't about protecting the kids. It was about protecting a fucking mentally ill person who thought they were the opposite gender.
Okay,
I forgot.
27th, 2023.
Push the button for the play.
Today is the day, yes. The day has finally come. I can't believe it's here. Don't know how I was able to get this far, but here I am. I'm a little nervous, but excited too. Been excited for these past 2 weeks. There were several times I could have been caught, especially back in the summer of 2021. None of that matters now. I'm almost an hour plus 7 minutes away. Can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm ready. I hope my victims aren't. My only fear is if anything goes wrong, I'll do my best to prevent any of the sort. God, let my wrath take over my anxiety. It might be 10 minutes tops. It might be 3 to 7. It's gonna go quick. I hope I have a high death count. Ready to die. Ha ha. Signed, Aiden.
Not a manifesto.
Next page. Audrey. Kill those kids. 3 exclamation points. Those crackers. Going to private fancy schools with those fancy khakis and sports backpacks with their daddies, Mustangs, and convertibles. F you little shits. I wish to you weak-ass dicks with your mop yellow hair.
Sounds like a manifesto.
Wanna all you little crackers. Again. Bunch of little f***s with your white privileges.
Nashville police is covering this up because they don't
then
want.
Then we have the schedule. Death day, 6:30, desired. It's covered by a sticky note. 7 a.m. get dressed. 7:05 to 8:55. It says with stuffed animals plus possessions. 9 a.m. eat breakfast at home. The home is encircled in a heart shape. 9:30 pack up special belongings and backpack. Test knife core breaker. Leave for Royal Range. Gear up plus setup. Guns and trunk. Final videotape. Leave for Covenant School. So the schedule isn't necessarily something I need to go through in detail, but we will provide it for you.
We're
sorry.
back.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't want to adulterate that with my current. Yeah, I mean, let me ask you this: do you think they'd consider it a manifesto if it was I want to kill all those N-words instead of crackers?
Yeah. It could have just been one of those pages. So the point is being made that they're saying that they took all of this from the different journals that this person had. Okay, fine. One of those pages suffices for me.
Yeah, you take
one of those
Yeah.
pages.
How about we forget all the other? Exactly.
I was told it didn't have to. I was told it didn't matter the length of the manifesto. There's a timetable given. I want to kill all of these kids. It's like, okay, does it have to have every single element of what's going to happen?
Is the Bible a book?
Exactly. That's exactly what
it's a series of books, technically, but yes.
Yes, it's a series of books that make up one
The Bible
manifesto,
is the most sold
Christian
book of all time.
manifesto,
Right. Yes.
as it were.
Exactly.
The Christian Manifesto.
I mean, unless I'm missing something here, this is an absolute just travesty that they're trying to say something doesn't exist that absolutely does exist.
So when realities exist, it's hidden. When something that's overblown, it's overblown all over the media. And that's what's the problem in this country right now, this world. Everything is fear-based. The markets right now will tell you it's fear-based because yesterday the fear level was 6, and I believe currently the fear level is 6 or 4. Yeah. Everything's going down, but oddly Ford Motor Company is up. Intel Core is up. Barrel of oil is down. Good, good, good. Natural gas is down. Good. Good, good, good. And I didn't know NASDAQ had crypto because they're up. Bitcoin is up. Holy shit. Fuck.
So, I mean, we watch what happened in the markets.
All right, you guys remember tariffs work, right? Or tariffs are bad. Tariffs are bad, according to our current members of Congress. But what were the members of Congress saying in 1996? Oh, shit, I just closed it, dude.
In terms of tariffs, I think it's interesting to note that the average U.S. MFN tariff on Chinese goods coming into the United States is 2%, whereas the average Chinese MFN tariff on U.S. goods going into China is 35%. Is that reciprocal? In terms of jobs, this is the biggest and cruelest hoax of all. Not only do we not have market access, not only do they have prohibitive tariffs, Not only are our exports not let in very specifically, but China benefits with at least 10 million jobs from U.S.-China trade. China trade supports 170,000
Right now, Bitcoin is up 2%.
jobs in the United States, 170,000 jobs, whereas our imports from China support 10 million jobs at least. The fact is that U.S.-China trade is a job loser.
I'm sorry, what? It's incredible, Angela and Brian. You know, they give speeches all the time, but the passion that she speaks when she's talking about this issue, I mean, I was for it.
So we should have reciprocal tariffs back in 96. Bill Clinton. Interesting. You were all about it then, but you didn't do it, which is crazy. She brought it up 40 years ago, 30 plus years ago, 30 plus, and all of a sudden, it's bad. Why, Nancy? Nancy, how much were you worth in 1996? And how much are you worth now? How much NVIDIA stock do you still own? Oh, we're going to talk about everybody's favorite billionaire. And I'm not talking about Elon Musk.
Of all the financial titans and philanthropists of the 20th century, none are more complex or mysterious than George Soros. Like Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, and the Rockefellers, he amassed billions through ruthless business decisions, only to turn around and give away most of his fortune to advance his own personal philosophy. He can move world financial markets simply by voicing an opinion, or destabilize a government by buying and selling its currency. He also pledged more aid last year to help people in Russia than the U.S. government did.
Oh.
Few people have been called kingmaker, philanthropist, world changer, and possible war criminal, all wrapped in the same person. One man has worn all of these crowns and has been proclaimed as one of the greatest humanitarians in history, adored by the progressive left worldwide. He has also been called a villain, criminal, and robber baron, responsible for the destruction of economies and societies, making billions at the expense of the very people he claims to assist. But he also has been called a betrayer of his fellow Jews. Let's take a closer look at George Soros. Who is George Soros? Why is his background so questionable? Why have the left-wing media tried to hide the facts of his life? How did he become so wealthy just after World War II? Why do some consider him a great supporter of American terrorist organizations and someone trying to destroy the Federal Republic? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, former history professor, Army and Marine Corps veteran, and welcome to this episode of Forgotten History.
No way he was a tanker. Too tall.
George Soros was born George Sukes on April 12, 1930, to father Tivadar and mother Elizabeth Sukes. Sukes himself was a successful Jewish attorney in Budapest with great political connections. Being Jewish with those connections, Tivadar saw what was coming, so he bought forged documents for his family, changing their name and religion, and bribed a friend, who was a local government official, to claim that 14-year-old George was, in fact, his Christian godson. What follows is a serious indictment on the Soros family, and even George Soros himself. When I was staying with a friend in Austria in 1999 doing his interview, we went to the local meat market, where we were talking. This was where an older lady, who said her name was Elizabeth Roxney, spelling in question, with a very thick accent, who asked me in broken English if I was an American. I said yes. She asked me if I knew a man in America named George Soros. I told her no, because at that time I had never heard of George Soros. Then she told me a chilling story. According to her, Soros was originally George Zooks, and the family, despite being Jewish, had turned on their fellow Jews in a village just outside of Budapest, working with the Arrow Cross Party, which they called the Government of National Unity. These were Hungarian fascist and Nazi collaborators. Roxney said that there were many families who all knew the Soroses under their actual name and that the family ran the local black market with local political support. She said that, starting in early 1944, George Soros, along with his father, uncle, and a family friend, began extorting their neighbors for protection. Tivadar Zooks bribed local officials he knew in government and had new identity papers created, giving the family their new name of Soros, altering their background, declaring they were Catholic, thereby inoculating them from the roundup of Jews that was coming, which Tivadar Zooks knew was coming from his friends in the Budapest government. Elizabeth Roxney said that the Zooks, or Soros family, would offer to hide and protect their Jewish friends as the Germans increased their presence and the SS began their roundups just after Easter, including providing new identity papers. This was where Elizabeth's story became even more interesting. According to her, the Soros family, under their new identities, assisted the Arrow Cross Party and took all the money, jewelry, furs, anything of value over several months as protection to hide them from the Germans, and later they took the titles to their property. Hungary's regent, Admiral Miklos Horthy de Nagybányai, had joined the Axis along with Romania and Bulgaria earlier, and he and Hitler had a very cordial relationship at first. Hungarian soldiers even supported German operations on the Eastern Front at a very high price. But Hitler began insisting upon Horthy handing over his Jews, saying they must either be exterminated or put in concentration camps, something Horthy resisted for almost 4 years. April 1944 was when Hitler sent Adolf Eichmann into Budapest to deport Hungary's estimated 800,000 Jews, with 200,000 being in Budapest alone, and most would go to Auschwitz-Birkenau. Hitler then sent SS Major Otto Skorzeny to kidnap Miklos Horthy Jr., forcing his father into compliance. Admiral Horthy resigned and was replaced by the rabid anti-Semite Ferenc Szálasi, the leader of the Arrow Cross Party. But, according to Roxney herself, when the bribes ran out, the Soros brothers, along with the fake godfather of young George, forced them to sign over their property deeds, essentially stealing their homes and farms.
When the Nazis occupied Budapest in 1944, George Soros' father was a successful lawyer. He lived on an island in the Danube and liked to commute to work in a rowboat. But knowing that...
Wait, he lived on an island? What is it with Jews and their own island?
There were problems ahead for the Jews. He decided to split his family up. He bought them forged papers, and he bribed a government official to take 14-year-old George Soros in and swear that he was his Christian godson. But survival carried a heavy price tag. While hundreds of thousands of Hungarian Jews were being shipped off to the death camps, George Soros accompanied his phony godfather on his appointed rounds, confiscating property from the Jews.
Eventually, all of the
Seems
Jews
like a
in their
pretty good
village,
guy, right?
which she said numbered over 300, were betrayed by the Soros family and handed over for deportation.
Remember, Donald Trump was handed his silver spoon, right? $1 million loan from his father. And he got rich that way. George Soros, one of the biggest donors for the Democratic Party, stole to get his wealth.
As Eichmann then deported 437,402 Jews to Auschwitz-Birkenau in only 60 days.
These are pictures from 1944 of what happened to George Soros' friends and neighbors.
She saw her entire family, parents, older brother, and sister, taken one morning as they were located hiding under the floor of a barn on their property. The reason she was not taken was because her father had sent her out at age 10 before dawn to gather eggs, which they would eat raw. As she stated, "When I came back, my family and all of the others under their protection were being loaded on a truck with many other Jewish friends who they all knew, and I knew. All had been betrayed by the Soros family. I never saw any of them again. I was the only survivor. She saw George there that morning pointing to where people were hiding with a man she did not know. This was presumably his father's friend, the supposed godfather, who was a member of the Arrow Cross Party.
My understanding is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right.
Despite his later claims that he was only an observer, Soros was, according to the witness, a willing and active participant by betraying the people he grew up with for profit. Or was he just a child following the orders of his older relatives and a friend? At this point, it does not matter, because he cannot be prosecuted under international law for those crimes due to the fact that he was under the age of 15 at that time. That was determined the age of culpability as governed by the Geneva Convention of 1929.
Which is also
well, actually, funny way, it's just like in markets, that if I weren't there, of course I wasn't doing it, but somebody else would be taking it away anyhow. In other words, whether I was there or not, I was only a spectator, the property was being taken away.
It has been presumed that with the confiscation of Jewish property in 1944 to 1945 and then selling those properties to non-Jewish Hungarians, the family made a nice profit. In addition, the cash, jewels, and other assets extorted from their friends and neighbors were probably traded or sold on the black market, and this would explain the family's expanding wealth. This wealth would have been needed to bribe the post-war communist officials, if that is in fact what happened, because leaving Hungary under Soviet occupation was not an easy thing to do, and bribery was commonplace. Ironically, in a 60 Minutes interview in 1998, Soros virtually admitted what his family had done.
You guys remember when Russia wanted to exterminate the Nazis? And now Russia's the bad guy? Fighting the evil West?
Soros had tried for years to have this episode removed from the CBS archives and scrubbed from the internet.
Was it difficult?
Not at all. Not at all.
What is of interest is that when Soros and his family left Hungary and arrived in England in 1947, he was a very rich young man, when every other Jew in Hungary had lost everything, in most cases even their lives. George Soros studied philosophy under Karl Popper at the London School of Economics, but decided against becoming a philosopher and joined the London bank Singer and Friedlander. In 1956, he and the family moved to New York City, where he worked initially as an analyst of European securities and became an expert in currency exchanges and European markets. There, he worked as an arbitrage trader with F.M. Meyer from 1956 to 1959 and as an analyst with Vertime.
I'm sorry, did they say currency? So he could be a currency manipulator.
In securities and became an expert in currency exchanges and European markets. There, he worked as an arbitrage trader with F.M. Meyer from 1956 to 1959 and as an analyst with Vertime and Company from 1959 to 1963. From 1963 to 1973, he worked at Arnold & S. Bleichroeder, becoming the vice president, and he persuaded the company to set up an offshore investment fund in 1967, called First Eagle, for him to run. Then, in 1969, the company founded a second fund for Soros, the Double Eagle Hedge Fund. When investment regulations restricted his ability to run the funds as he wished, he quit his position there in 1973 and established a private investment company that became Quantum Fund. George Soros had the seed money from his family, and this was always in question. With profits from this fund, he started the Soros Fund Management in 1973. Eventually, Double Eagle was renamed the Quantum Fund officially, and it became the primary hedge fund that Soros advised. His knowledge of regional and global economic trends, combined with his deep pockets and tolerance for risk, has allowed him to amass a fortune now valued in the billions. In 1984, Soros began investments in the Warsaw Pact nations under communism, especially his native Hungary, starting scholarships, and he managed to operate in the country without any communist government interference, which means he spread a lot of money around.
Yep.
He expanded his operations into Czechoslovakia, Poland, Russia, and Yugoslavia just as communism was collapsing. But many of the old regime were still in power. Even the communists had their price. Soros has a history of destabilizing economies and then swooping in to pick up the pieces as a ruthless robber baron like no other in history.
Soros makes huge bets on whole countries and economies. Last year, when he saw cracks in the Asia boom, he began selling the currency in Thailand. Traders in Hong Kong followed suit, triggering a financial crisis that plunged much of Asia into a depression.
Soros has been on a rampage for decades, trying to undermine international markets, destabilize economies in order to establish a new world order.
Though that's fucking crazy. Because if you think about it right now, the world economy, if you look at the stocks, is destabilizing. Just see where we're sitting at now. Oh, we're down 2,000. Sweet. Yeah, everybody's still down. Makes sense.
Order dominated by himself and other like-minded socialist financial elites.
In the last 2 years, you've been blamed for financial collapse of Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, and Russia.
Yeah, all of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Are you that powerful?
And he's happy
I think
about
there's
it.
a great misunderstanding.
The Prime Minister of Malaysia said that the region spent 40 years trying to build up its economy, and along comes a moron like Soros with a lot of money, and it's all over. He called you a criminal.
He poured $2 billion into Russia in the 1990s to essentially become the major shareholder in that nation's economy and asked the U.S. Federal Reserve for a $7 billion loan to help. But why?
Wait, what?
Well, when the Fed
So the U.S. Federal Reserve gave him $7 million for this?
refused, he suggested that the ruble be devalued as much as 25%, which would make his investment even stronger to gain control, which fueled the crash. Soros also threw his money around the world, including Haiti, Bosnia, and nations in Africa during the 1990s. He poured $100 million into Russia again to help their scientists maintain control of intellectual property with his IOU attached, and paid to train the Ukrainian military after the fall of the USSR when Ukraine became independent. In September 1992, the British government devalued the pound sterling as Soros had just sold billions of pounds during the days before the devaluation, much of it purchased with borrowed money. He had just sold the Italian lira short, and it proceeded to devalue, and he later came back in and bought them back for a profit. After the crash in Italy and Britain, Soros also bought back British pounds at a massive discount, repaid the money he had borrowed in the first place, and made a profit of about $1 billion in just one day, and earned the nickname the man who broke the Bank of England. When the dust settled on both actions, he made a total of $2 billion profit. In December 2002, a French court convicted Soros.
So this is like an actual money laundering. How do you just purchase someone's fucking money? How do I say this? In stocks. Maybe I'm just not understanding it.
Soros of insider trading for a 1988 stock deal involving financial services company Societe Generale, and he was fined 2.2 million euros, or $2.9 million. Soros appealed the ruling, but it was upheld by the Cour de Cassation, which is France's Supreme Court, in 2006. Facing new federal regulations concerning hedge funds, Soros announced in July 2011 that the Quantum Endowment Fund would no longer manage the money of outside investors. Instead, it would only handle the assets of Soros and his family in offshore accounts. In 2003, Soros created startup funding for the liberal think tank, the Center for American Progress, pledging millions of dollars to groups such as MoveOn.org to oppose the re-election of Republican President George W. Bush in 2004. He later financially supported.
And they're mad at Elon Musk? They're mad at Elon Musk? Let's continue.
Or the Democratic Senator Barack Obama's presidential campaigns in 2008.
Again, they're mad at Elon Musk?
And 2012. And he donated to Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election and to Joe Biden in 2020.
Do I need to repeat myself?
In 2010, Soros had given $100 million to the non-governmental organization Human Rights Watch. Despite left-wing media organizations trying to provide cover for Soros by denying that he funded domestic terror groups, George Soros' philanthropic group, the Open Society Foundations, admittedly invested $220 million in various racial, social justice organizations and leaders. This includes primarily the domestic terror groups Black Lives Matter and Antifa. They even announced it months in advance of the riots that cost about $2 billion in damages and cost several lives. Soros has personally donated more than $32 billion to so-called left-wing charitable causes through his grant-making network, the Open Society Foundations. His political support deeply extended into U.S. state and local politics. He spent billions helping progressive radical Democrats running for various offices, from governors to...
He said billions. Billions. But they're mad at Elon Musk.
...to district attorneys and attorneys general. He assisted in the campaigns to elect the criminal DAs Fani Willis in Fulton County, Georgia, Alvin Bragg in New York City, and many liberal judges nationwide. He also poured money into California races to prop up progressive liberals, and also sent millions to the Democratic challenger to Republican Senator Ted Cruz in Texas. All of these
Hold on, big screen. In case you didn't understand it the first time. All these pretty similar to what Elon Musk has done with Donald Trump and that judge that everyone knew was going to lose in Wisconsin anyway. But this right here is okay. It's okay.
persons have been brought out into the light for their illegal, selective, unethical, and radical applications of state and federal laws, thereby exposing the deep state, and see our video on that subject. Regarding the betrayal of not just his fellow Jews, but his family's friends and neighbors, George Soros has no feelings of guilt for his actions.
I don't feel guilty because I'm engaged in an amoral activity which is not meant to have anything to do with guilt.
Soros
it doesn't matter.
that all
He doesn't
other
care what
businesses,
happens to the world.
investment groups, and hedge funds adhere to the rules and regulations which he himself avoids.
Part of the reason he is so rich is that the Soros hedge funds operate offshore in the Netherlands Antilles to avoid scrutiny by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So even while Soros tells
So wouldn't that
Congress
technically be foreign interference in the elections?
and the Treasury that hedge funds must be regulated to stop the global crisis, he's avoiding the rules.
So how does George Soros make his wealth and escape regulations and scrutiny without abiding by the very rules that apply to all other Americans, rules he supports, as he is a citizen? How does he do it? He avoids scrutiny by the IRS and Security Exchange Commission, as well as other international agencies, due to his methods of operating outside of U.S. jurisdiction.
because the fund is not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. We are not
licensed to do business in the United States.
That's right.
Because?
Because we are not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission.
George Soros, the investment genius, is also, by some definitions, a criminal mastermind determined to destroy the free market system in the USA and around the world, and establish a global digital currency that is managed by the Marxist global elites. Today, George Soros has an estimated wealth of $7.2 billion, but that number may be much larger given his offshore accounts that cannot easily be monitored. Whether or not you support, oppose, believe, or disbelieve the stories of George Soros, just remember what he said.
Great state of Texas, Mr. Gonzalez, for 5 minutes.
It's funny, everything they just said towards the end of that video is actually what's happening right now, if you think really close about it. But George isn't going to win in the end of this either. But then you got to think about the global elites. Who's the richest man in the world? Who's the richest man in the world? What has he got to lose? Nothing.
Thank you, Chairman Guest. Appreciate your leadership on this. Thank you, everybody, for testifying before us. It's good to see you, John. I didn't even know you owned a suit. It's great to see you up here and not in the field. You know, I represent 2/3 of the Texas-Mexico border. A lot of the places that people talk about, we live it. Del Rio with the Haitians under the bridge, we lived that. Eagle Pass, thousands of people, we lived that. When they rushed when these IAs rushed the bridge in El Paso, also in the district. But I want to start with one thing in particular that I don't think gets enough coverage. And I want to start with Ms. Reese. And this is a very simple question. Where are the children? There are reports of hundreds of thousands of children that are missing. Regardless of their legal status, where are the children?
Well, that's a valid question because 550,000 came in unaccompanied during the last administration. And HHS was so overwhelmed, treated them basically like widgets on an assembly line.
Now it's up to 500. We know it was 500, higher than that, but last time it was like 325, and before that it was 130.
And turned them over to unvetted sponsors. And so then HHS lost track of so many of them.
So now you know it's in the millions.
Unfortunately, some were subjected to sex trafficking, child labor, and God knows what else, but they need to be found.
I agree with you. And I think this is an area that, that the president, working with Congress, we're going to have to work really hard to find these children. No one else is going to advocate for them. I saw during the last administration as their policies were eroded, where they would, at one time, would vet everyone in the household before they would turn a child over, to now they were just turning children over as quickly as they possibly could, just because of the sheer numbers. I think that is an area that we absolutely need to focus on. I'm sure you're going to gain, you're going to have the level of support from this committee. Okay. My next question is to Mr. Blair. How can President Trump and Congress best tackle rounding up and deporting the hundreds of thousands of convicted criminal illegal aliens loose in our country?
Thank you, sir. That's a great question. The best way to do so is working as a multi-jurisdictional, multi-agency plan through your local, state, and county law enforcement. It's those law enforcement agents or officers that are in the communities. They know the communities. They know the criminality or the criminal elements within their communities. So the only way that President Trump and also Tom Homan are going to be able to go after all those hundreds of thousands that are currently on the non-disclosed docket for ICE that have criminal records is by going through a multi-agency, multi-jurisdictional plan led by the federal government. The federal government is just not big enough. Federal agencies are not large enough. And so they're going to have to go through that all the way down to the local.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Rewind.
Agency, multi-jurisdictional plan led by the federal government. The federal government is just not big enough.
Nothing. Nothing matters after this guy says that because all I'm going to hear is that. And then I'm like, dude, fuck you. The federal government is already way too big. I don't know if maybe he meant something else, but I don't give a shit. We don't need more government.
Federal agencies are not large enough, and so they're going to have to go through that all the way down to the local level.
Spot on. I couldn't agree with you more.
See,
Last
you agree.
year, I sent a letter to ICE asking how many convicted criminal illegal aliens are in our country. One, I was shocked I got a response back. But even more shocking was the fact that it was 662,000. That is a large number. And to your point, the only way we're going to accomplish this is if we all are in the same boat, paddling in the same direction. Local, state, federal, all coming together. I just held a roundtable last week in San Antonio with my sheriffs, with my police chiefs, we had FBI there, we had HSI, we had DEA, you had all these different partnerships. And you've already seen some of the successes that President Trump has been able to, and his administration has been able to accomplish in Houston and throughout the country. But to your point, I think you're spot on. We have to do more. And the only way we do this is if we all pull our resources together to get these. Once again, I'm not talking about somebody that is here waiting their court case. I'm talking someone that's a convicted criminal illegal alien to the tune of 600,000. My next question.
Now,
he took.
With all these illegal immigrants that were in Texas, where's the ABT? You'd think they'd be totally against. No, ABT would not, because that's how they get their drugs. Continue. All right, this one, I couldn't really. I'm not going to go searching for all this guy's bullshit because I don't want to be like, oh no, this guy's in his search bars. No, fuck this. Melanie is going to take care of this for us. We're just going to observe and listen and talk.
Took OF pictures at his job in a preschool bathroom. Now he has finally responded, and this is the most messed up thing I have seen on the internet in a long time. So this guy's name is Michael Duvall. He has 1 million followers on TikTok and worked at a preschool. He also does OnlyFriends.
We have got to talk about the strange and very disturbing story of Michael Duvall.
And while he was working at the preschool, he was literally taking OnlyFriends pictures. Not only was it photos and videos of him on the toilet at the daycare center, where you could literally see the potty.
What's AC? I know what ABT is. I didn't know there was an AC. True. But, again, it's also where they would get a majority of their drugs.
Chair training seats.
Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something that honestly shook me. And it's not because it's just shocking, but it's because it's so completely out of bounds. I'm talking about the OnlyFans creator, Michael Duvall, who recently addressed criticism after filming adult content.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a...
Yeah, you heard that right. A daycare, a place for toddlers, a place for children. And what makes this worse, he later said he was blinded by money. So let's break this down because this isn't just irresponsible, it's morally bankrupt. Michael Duvall, an adult content creator for OnlyFans, chose to film explicit material at a daycare center. Later, after he faced backlash for it, he said that he regrets it. But his excuse is that it was just the money that had blinded him and he couldn't think straight. Now, let's be clear. Regret after getting caught is not the same thing as accountability. This wasn't just a bad decision. It was a blatant violation of every standard of decency.
The day I took my first nude at work, I honestly don't remember it, but I do remember that.
Michael Duvall. He used to work at a daycare center.
Violation of every standard of decency.
The day I took my first nude at work,
He works at a daycare, and he's talking about the day he took his first nude at work. At a daycare.
Honestly don't remember it, but I do remember that.
Michael Duvall. He used to work at a daycare center. He also used to have an account where he posted his explicit content. He's deep into it now because he took those explicit photos and videos at work, took photos and videos of himself on the toilet at the daycare center, which also had children's party training seats. These are not allegations this did happen. This is a creator responding to his comment saying he did it at least twice. And then in this video, he explains the circumstances and admits to doing it 4 to 5 times. Number 1, how can you get out of a car in a place like that where you know there are children around? Number 2, why would you think it's a good thing to film your misbehavior and post it online for people to pay to watch when you know where you are? Third, even if you didn't, your PDFs are producing content for those people. Whether you admit it or not, you are producing content for the PDF file. Think about that as a mom sitting on the sidelines. I am so disgusted by this behavior on his part, and I feel bad for all the parents of the children who attend that school. What's worse is that he will comment under the video of him at the school, "I know I shouldn't be doing this here." He knew what he was doing. He knows it's wrong, and he's trying to cover up his crime.
All right, one more update on the Michael Duvall thing. So allegedly, or apparently, whatever, Michael is not even his first name. His first name is Christopher. So originally when this all went down, the parents, I guess some parents found out about his
What is she doing to her face?
OF account, his content. And they went to the director of the daycare where he was working at the time. And the director kind of just said, they swept it under the rug, basically, okay? They got the police involved, and the director told the police, oh, he doesn't work here. That's why they got away with it, because they were looking for Michael Duvall, but I guess his real name is Christopher, so of course they could say that. Then there allegedly was a mother on here, Sexy Boy Mom 4, who was talking about it. She was one of the parents that had a child in this daycare, which the daycare sounds like the director and Michael/Christopher, whatever, were very chummy, okay? But the daycare has now since closed and then reopened under a new name. I don't know. It's like in an apartment complex or something. Anywho, this is what I find when I go to Sexy Boy Mom 4. It says videos posted by Null. I don't know if the account is down. I don't know if I'm blocked. I don't know why I would be. I've never talked about her before. But there are some questions of, was she really a parent of a child at the daycare? So I don't know. I never saw the videos.
What does that have to...
So to sum it up, it sounds like, yes, parents did have a little idea of what was going on. Michael has admitted himself, yes, he worked at the daycare. He filmed these things while he was at the daycare. And he even filmed himself like actually working there. And there is a new investigation going. So I guess if people bring enough evidence and whatever they want to the police, they can press charges. They can move forward with this. So this should be interesting to see what...
He literally says he's at the school taking nudes while at work. What more evidence do they need? They want to see the nudes? They going to sign up for his OnlyFans?
This goes. My opinion, I hope he goes down. Because you don't do that with minors around. Sorry, you don't.
A daycare is not just another building. It's a place where parents leave their children with trust, with expectation,
I did.
with
I
hope.
don't.
They expect safety.
I
They
don't.
expect
Never have.
care.
Never will.
They expect a nurturing environment. And someone chose to walk into that sacred space and turn it into a set for adult content. That's not just crossing a line, it's desecrating something that's meant to be protected. You wouldn't film a scene like that in church. You wouldn't film it in a school classroom. So why is a daycare any different? Let's talk about that excuse. Blinded by money? That phrase gets thrown around way too often. And the go-to line when someone wants to sound remorseful without actually owning up to anything. Being blinded by money doesn't make you a victim. It means you were willing to trade morality for profit. It means your price was more important than your principles. And when your price includes exploiting children's environments, that's not just a lapse in judgment. That's a character flaw.
Now he has responded, and this is where it gets even more worser. Because he just admitted to not doing it just once, but doing it 4 to 5 different times. He has now made a 10-minute apology video. I don't know how you can apologize when people are saying that allegedly in the video that they could hear the kids in the background of the OnlyFriends video. He was filming in the bathroom, and what he did to that toilet seat is flippin' disgusting.
The reason I didn't do a lot of research into this story, and I really don't feel like it now, especially watching more of this video.
And in his apology video, he basically said that his ex convinced him to do all these things. And based on Michael's apology video, he doesn't really seem that sorry. People are saying that the parents of that preschool should be super pissed. And now everybody is unfollowing Michael. After Michael's apology, does he still deserve the backlash?
I really don't know what to say, so I'm just going to blurt it out. Today is going to be a really sad day. It's easy for me to lie on TikTok and not show
fully what's going on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, but I can't lie to you about it because it's a lot harder. Especially because here, after today, I'll be vlogging a lot more often and able to post on YouTube a lot more often. I've hinted at it just a little bit, but I put in my 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago today at my job. So today is my last day working in childcare. I really have to get going because it's already time for me to leave, and don't want to be super late on my last day, but I put all my kids' Christmas gifts together because it's my last day and we're having our Christmas party, and my anxiety is like really bad. I don't know why. I'm just really nervous, and I knew I needed to go ahead and start this YouTube vlog, and I'll be able to explain more on why I made this choice after work, but I think I just need to get going. And I don't want to cry yet because I've already had like 17 breakdowns. Well, I thought I was going to be able to hold it until I got to the car, but I was not. I cried in front of everyone. I hope my lips aren't too crusty. Like, this hurts more than my last breakup. I don't even know what to say. There were so many reasons. It's awkward crying on camera. I hope I didn't make a mistake. Things have been so hard since like August, and half my kids left. Pretty self-explanatory. I started taking off on social media. Everything I do pays the bills. I used to get so angry. I was a teacher for over 4 years. It's not for the weak. Fully hit me until I got home. What am I supposed to do with the rest of my life now? I do have a lot of...
He was a teacher for 4 years. Was he doing this the whole fucking time he was a teacher?
Plans. Sorry, this is gross. I'm an ugly crier. The reason I don't want to tell anyone, I come across as just another person who started making money online. I wanted to quit for so long. I just never thought that it would hurt so bad whenever I finally got to leave. Every day I was yelling, losing my patience. Everyone can understand it. I hope you understand why I had to put all this in the video, because I feel like we're closer than that. Why not tell TikTok for a while? I don't want to tell them for a while. I haven't even told my family, and I don't want to. And if you're my family or you're so close to me and you watch this, like, please just let me show myself in the world for a little bit that I can do this. I'm not gonna change like at all, and this hurts me. I wish that they could be my kid, which is so weird. Every time I got an interaction, any type of interaction was at work, and most of the time it was with kids. And now I have nothing. Me and you, my cats, and my 2 fish. I'm not worried about income. I'm not worried about making money. I know I can make money. I know I can probably make more money now that I can focus 8, 9, 10 plus hours a day. It's just the living and the change, all the fears for the future. Telling myself that anything that I fear can't come true. I have to do great. Cat, stop! That's funny, but it's not funny. I'm trying not to ruin my mascara. Might be a little bit too late, but at least I somewhat still have lashes. I'm gonna try to calm down in the best way I can. And I actually have a TikTok I can edit, so I'm going to SMOKE, and I'm going to edit a TikTok because I recorded like my Christmas. Cat, stop! Hey! I recorded my Christmas party and like my kids opening their gifts, and I also recorded packing up all my stuff. I'm not posting that yet. I'll post that whenever I'm ready to tell TikTok. So if you love me, please just don't. I mean, you can comment about it on this YouTube video. Just don't go on TikTok and comment about how I don't work in childcare anymore or any of the other social medias. As much as I didn't want it to be like a big part of who I was, because I like didn't want that. Like, I stopped posting my going to work vlogs on TikTok because I didn't want the pressure of being a teacher, because I knew that's not what I wanted to do full time. But it was still such a big part of.
So what kind of message does this send to creators, to parents, to society? It says nothing is sacred. If it could be monetized, then it's justified. It tells us shock value is higher than morality. Virality is traded in for virtue. Let me be clear. This is not about just shaming somebody for their choices in life. This is about context, about location, about basic human decency. You want to make adult content? Great, that's your lane, but stay in it. Don't bring that into spaces meant for our kids.
So Ms. Abby here is wondering why Michael Duvall would be in trouble for exposing himself. Okay, let's just read here. Even if no one else is present, filming explicit content in a child care facility could be considered an invasion of privacy or misuse of private property. Even if children aren't in the videos, creating adult content in a child care facility could lead to serious criminal charges under Kentucky's child protection laws. Let's continue. Right here it says, bottom line, filming adult content in a child care bathroom in Kentucky is almost certainly illegal and highly risky. And Michael's response is that it's not concerning. Nobody was ever affected or exposed to his mistakes. People make it sound worse than it was. If you want to believe other people, then go ahead. He's changed and moved on and could defend himself, but he don't owe anybody that story.
Michael Duvall, the content creator that is getting backlash right now for taking a very inappropriate picture in a child care facility.
All right, you get the gist of this. All these other fucking people talking really fast so you can get to their point really, really quick, and they're never really saying anything. Just make it sound really good. All right, so I believe we talked about this guy numerous times before, but we're going to end it on a good note before we actually close out. So let's end it on a good note with this 9-minute video, and I hope you enjoy. Has happy ending.
Inmate John Watson, a.k.a. Cannon, a.k.a. Babe Ruth. He's been doing a life sentence for over 10 years. He decided he just wanted to do some easy time. He stayed low-key, got into a substance abuse program in Corcoran State Prison. After spending half of his sentence in confinement for assaults, stabbings, he finally made it to the program. Watson gets into the program, looks around, and sees nothing but child molester, scum, chomo piece of shit. In an open letter that he wrote to multiple media platforms, he would go on to say, yo, what the fuck am I doing in here? I thought I was gonna come in here and do easy time. I walked in here, I looked around. First I see a chomo, fucking rapist, pedophile piece of shit, watching PBS kids show, almost mocking us. I walked away, but I couldn't go to sleep that night. Not one to act on impulse, he stayed up all night, regretting the fact that he knew when he was gonna enter here, there would be some trash, scum, chomos. Sometimes inmates go there because they want to do easy time, or sometimes inmates go there because they want to destroy a pedophile. Yet he would do what any good man would do. Before, he would beat 2 chomos to death with a walking cane. He walked up to an officer and said, you know what? I can't be here. Take me back to the level 3 yard. I'm gonna kill these child molesters in here. The officers do what they do and laugh, shook it off, kept it moving. So Watson took that as a green light. Sometimes things aren't always what they seem, but it sounds good to me. You know what I mean? So he keeps walking and he sees somebody he's familiar with. And they both look up and they see the chomo. David Bobb, 48 years old, convicted child molester for molesting a child under the age of 14. So him and his friend, in amazement, as he's watching PBS, a kid's show. It's either he's mocking us, or he's just getting off on this, or both. But there's no way this could ever go
Second time
again. So they talk about it, and Watson said, don't worry about it. He grabs the cane, walks up to the inmate's cell, and beats him to death with the cane. Then he said, you know what? I don't want to get this whole place popping off, riot. I'm just gonna go up to the officers and turn myself in. As he was walking with the cane, he looked in the cell and said, oh, wait a minute. This piece of shit was part of one of the biggest sex trafficking ring of minors.
2 for 1.
Lester. Let me go talk to him real quick. Graham DeLewis Conti was sitting in his cell as Babe Ruth, aka the Cannon, came in there to practice his batting average. And yes, he's still batting 1,000. He would end up beating his brains in until he ultimately would die from his wounds. Both chomos were serving life sentences with the possibility of parole for
Well, they definitely got life sentences.
aggravated sexual assault of children under the age of 14. Both died from severe blunt force trauma to the head by Babe Ruth, as he would go 2 for 2 on home runs. The letter that Watson wrote went like this. I was mulling it all over. when along came molester number 1, and he put his TV right on PBS Kids again. He wrote, but this time, someone else said something to the effect of, is this guy really gonna watch this right in front of us? And I, Watson, recall saying, I got this, picked up the cane and went to work on him. After he hit that home run, Watson then went to find a guard and confess, but something stopped him along the way. As I got to the lower tier, he said, I saw a known child trafficker, and I figured I'd just do everybody a favor, Watson would write. After batting practice, the rest of the letter went like this: in for a penny, in for a pound. Watson then said he told a guard, but the guard didn't even believe him until he looked around the corner and saw the mess I'd left in the dorm area. Gang intelligence officer wrote to the news, this guy should have never been housed with those chomos. It's documented, Watson said, he told them, I can't be housed here, and that's admirable. That's a deviation from a normal prison general population behavior. The culture is, if you're comfortable, to do something about it. The fact that he did seek out the administration shows he was trying to do his time. Or sometimes you get put in a place where you know you want to maybe cover your ass a little bit because you know they don't care about these chomos. It's very admirable that he went to the officers and then said, you know what, they're right. I should go play baseball with these chomos' heads, and then blame it on the administration. As sometimes people work so hard to get to these, you know, easier time places. They get there, and within a month, 2 chomos end up dead. And the staff probably didn't believe it would happen since he worked so hard to get there. These are 2 of the worst chomos you can come across. Traffickers, molesters, to the highest level. Watson, however, had a different view. He called the transfer a careless mistake and said a child molester eventually moved into his pod. The inmate, who Watson identified as molester number 1, watched PBS Kids in full view of other inmates, which Watson viewed as a taunt, according to the news outlet. Watson would later go on to say, I could not sleep, having not done what every instinct told me I should have done right then and there. So I packed all of my things because I knew one way or another the situation would be resolved the following day. He claims he told a prison counselor that he wanted to be moved back to a level 3 security, but he was scoffed at. He would close the letter out by saying, being a lifer, I'm in a unique position where I sometimes have access to these people, and I have so little to lose. Watson wrote in his letter, adding that molesters are every parent's worst nightmare, who can change a child's life forever. That's the reality of prison for all you motherfuckers hurting kids out there. You got a guy that will play smooth, lay low for 5 years just so he can get in a dorm and kill 2 child molesters. The officers are gonna laugh about it. The COs, the psychiatrists, they do not give a fuck. The fact that these pieces of shits have parole, it can't happen. Time doesn't exist, only opportunity. As you guys see, Babe Ruth batting 1,000. It's no secret that Watson played it cool for 4 years with a history of violence, doing a life sentence for murder. Gets to one of these 50-50 dorms where they got chomos and all these just horrible people functioning together. You got David Bobb. He was convicted of child molestation with a history of child sex abuse charges. Bobb's crimes include sexual abuse of minors, which led to his incarceration at Corcoran. His reputation in prison marked him as a target for individuals like Watson who believed in punishing sex offenders. We all know Bobb's head was bounced off the floor while he was watching Sesame Street on PBS. He was killed by John Watson in 2006. Watson reportedly killed him while he was watching PBS in his cell. Watson's motive, according to his writing, was driven by a strong moral code to protect children from sexual offenders. De Luz Cante was convicted of human trafficking, including sexual exploitation of minors. His crimes were deeply linked to organized trafficking rings which involved the abuse and exploitation of young people. Just like PBS bounce on the ground faced Bob, De Luz Cante was seen as a predator in the prison system. His actions involved not only abusing minors, but also trafficking them for sexual exploitation, a crime that is viewed as unforgivable by many within the prison culture. As we know, De Luz Cante, his head was used for batting practice with a wooden cane. He would ultimately break Sosa's home run record on his head. That's the realities of it all. You know, everybody finds a way. Some people really get close with God, right with themselves and family, sometimes all three. You know, that's what I did. And then also we add a fourth thing to make society better. We go after these chomo, these child molesters, these rapists at all measures possible. So many times in prison, you would think a guy was changing his ways, trying to get to a lower type of unit, only to get there where the chomos have their guards down, where they think they can watch PBS and mock and laugh in these little shitty ass, just trash sides of the prisons. And then a dude waited 4 years to get there, only to beat their brains in. The officers weren't laughing at him. In their minds, they were like, thank you, man. Every day we got to go to work and feed these piece of shits that took advantage of the most beautiful, vulnerable people in our society. So all in all, Babe Ruth, aka the Cannon, aka John Watson, will get sentenced to another life sentence and another life sentence on top of his life sentence. But like he said, he feels that he made the world a safer place.
He did. He did the whole world a favor. He saved us not only, taxpayer dollars to house these motherfuckers. He did the world a favor by giving them what they should have deserved going into jail. Yes. And I'm glad. I'm glad it wasn't quick. I'm glad they probably felt the first 15, maybe 3 hits. But hey, you get what you fucking deserve, motherfuckers. Right? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages, that was a brief, I guess not really.
And the transfer was 100% a mistake. So all you...
A little thought-provoking shit for today, and or, wow. Fuck these people. Alright? I'm not telling you how to think, I'm just telling you to think. It's Friday. And, well, do what y'all do. Because Friday, I ain't got a job. Wait. Do I? Let me go check the box.